அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். Hello everybody. A very good evening to all of you. Metroplex Tamil Sangam, Dallas. Very happy to organize this timely event with help of all our attorneys. Just this week, the new executive order has sent shockwaves through the world of immigration, introducing a staggering $100,000 fee for certain new H1B visas and also threatening to fundamentally reshape how the US attracts global talent. This announcement has left thousands of employees, employers, and families in the state of panic and confusion. So, what does this mean for you? That's exactly what we are going to unpack today. We have assembled an incredible panel to guide us through this. Joining me are three exceptionally outstanding professionals in the field of immigration. I'm very pleased to welcome our immigration attorneys, Sharda Shankaraman Kodam Law Firm, and Kavita Ramaswamy from Law Offices of Kavita Ramaswamy and Mary Kennedy from Law Offices of Mary Kennedy. I'm very happy to see you all in this great session, and which is a timely session too. There is a lot of speculations, there is a lot of questions and confusions. There is back-to-back programs happening all over the US mentioning what to do, how to proceed, whether it is safe to travel, not only for the employees, but also for the employers and the dependent visa holders and the graduates and everything. So now this is an opportunity for us to support the community in what way they can go ahead with their lives. So just to start with, I wanted to give you all a few moments to talk about this situation, what is happening today. So let me go with first, I'll go with the screen presence. I'll go with first Mary. Hi, Mary.
Hi.
Thank you for your time. I know how busy you are. For that matter, thank you to all three of you. So please tell us, give us a outlook on this.
So the outlook of the proclamation, I know people have heard enough of it, so I don't want to repeat what has been said again. So all that we do understand in the last 2 days after is we don't have after the press release or the USCIS memo and then the CBP or the Department of State release. It's all sounds like it's all about new H1B that's going to be, all this 100,000 is going to be related to the new H1B that's going to be on the 2026, which means, it's a big relief for all of us to understand people who had been having a H1B and the visas. And the main question was like, if it's going to be something out of country, so people who had been holding a H1B but don't have a visas will be restricted with this proclamation. So we are all, Sharda and Kavita, after they speak as well, we are understanding only from the experience or the practical scenarios that's happening within the attorneys, and everybody saying, oh, this guy has entered back, okay, now looks like it's all working well with the visas, existing visas. And the next question will be, okay, what about the change of employers? Okay, somebody has to post it today, we filed it, and it's all okay. That's how we are learning through at that stage of it. And so moving on to Kavita and Sharda over here.
Okay. Kavita, now can you please tell us?
Yes, as Mary said, it's been a very hectic weekend. It started on a Friday, as always, and been almost sleepless nights for us and for many others as well who are on H1Bs. And it created so much of panic. And it started with something, the signing video was something, and the proclamation was different thing. And what eventually we ended up with something which is definitely a better thing than what it was. But still, it's a very sad thing that, all the new H1Bs, because the F1s came here, and that is one opportunity for them after their OPT to get into the H1B. And now that is the panic created for the F1 students now. And that is what has happened now. Currently, this is what we have come to the conclusion that it is only applicable for the CAP 2027 fiscal year, which starts next March. But there are changes even that. See, as I told you before, we started this like I was thinking from Monday, Tuesday, like we from Sunday we are having, even from Friday we are all having some sessions. And I was thinking that it's going to be the same, but no. Every day we get new things. Today it's the DOL with the wages and how they are going to calculate the lottery system. And I would probably let Sharda talk about it, and we'll have more discussions on that.
Okay. Thank you, Kavita and Sharada. Please.
I think, first off, I should say everyone take a deep breath. This is not the end of the world. There is a solution to the problem. There will be a solution to the problem. It's just that we need to be patient. More we keep hearing about it, it increases the panic that we are in, right? There's no point. Even if it is what it is, there's nothing that you and I we can do immediately to solve it. So let's take a deep breath. Um, like Kavita and Mary said, we know there is a lot of changes, but I can give you some level of good news. I did have a beneficiary who went to the consulate today in Mumbai and got his visa stamped. No issues. And this seems to be in line with what Department of State recent said, wherein that anyone who has an approved petition that was filed and approved before 21st of September, you don't have to pay you don't have to show the $100,000 fee. So which helps. But again, you have to take it at a consulate to consulate level. London is holding on to the passports. They haven't released it. But Mumbai did stamp. So again, we are learning things literally on the fly. Like the federal registry today, they said that they're going to change the way the lottery is going to be done. So anyone with a level 4 wages will have entries into the lottery. Level 3 will have 3. Level 2 will have 2, and level 1 have 1 entry, thereby increasing the chances of wage level 4. A colleague of mine asked, why 4, 3, 2, 1? Why not multiples of 3 or multiples of 5? We don't know. There is no rationale to this. But I know there are a lot of firms, both universities and other law firms, who are trying to file the lawsuit to undo this whole proclamation. So it's just wait and watch. Things will get better. I'm
Okay.
sure about it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. First of all, let's get this clarity. What does, when everybody says an executive order, how powerful it is? What is it? What will be the next of this? Because we know when the law is made, when a bill is passed, but there is a big difference when you say it is an executive order. In what way that is different? I'll ask Sharda. Yeah.
So there are two different things that play down, right? One is an executive order and another is a proclamation. Proclamation is an act that it's a private act. It doesn't really have significance. So when the New York mayor said Diwali is going to be a holiday in New York City, that's a proclamation, no biggie. If you want to make a proclamation that Sharda is fantastic, that's a proclamation, no biggie, right? Doesn't have any meaning in law. However, an executive order is means by which the president can tell his agencies, the executive agencies, to go do something. Now, for the president to tell his agencies to go do something, he needs to have the power either given to him by being a president or Congress telling him go do something. So the fun fact is it was a proclamation and it is not an executive order, even though it is being treated as an executive order. Now the question is, because the way the proclamation was written as initially as a travel ban, right? It was written as a travel ban. They said it's for national security purposes. That actually is something the president can do. That's what they did during COVID. They shut down the borders. President can definitely do that. Now that it is not a travel ban, reading between lines, does the president have the authority? I don't think so.
Okay.
But it will have to be challenged in court, have a TRO and an injunction, and push it right back.
Okay. Roughly, what is the duration you think it's going to be?
Couple of months.
Okay, so in between this, how the things has to be handled. I'll go with Mary, especially when they go to the court and when all these things are happening. Will still all these things happening is going to continue to happen, or what will happen in this mid time?
Yeah, so it's 12 months is the validity, right? The initial 12 months and starts from September 21. So the question is like, see, we are just as, all Sharda or Kavita has been saying, we are just understanding from the facts from the other attorneys, right? So who's going to be, somebody has to be impacted, right? The first question is who's going to be the plaintiff on this for the litigation attorneys. But definitely other challenges are over here, because even if you look into it, the proclamation has a very different wordings than whatever has been, it's so irrelevant to what has been released as a memo and everything. Even the 100,000 fees, it was very clear to say that every year means like how many, so many questions are unanswerable here. So along with that, the litigation is going to be, so the temporary TROs immediately to be obtained, because there's no one who is immediately affected, right? So or else it could have been, you have to have something done. So when when the attorneys on the litigation side of it, when they were discussing about it, even on the weekend, they were trying to see any federal judges available to have this happen, to stop this, because earlier it was understood that the people who doesn't have a visas, they couldn't even enter the country. That could have been a very different scenarios, and immediate relief is, sought. There's no way that people could have been stranded on the port of entries. But that's not the situation anymore, right? So they are saying that, and then we are seeing change of employers, which is a transfer of filings happening, and then all those are really happening. So we are nothing immediately impacted. So we are still waiting, but doesn't mean this is going to go like 12 months and we are just going to wait and watch. Sharda said, today the wage level, then what's the lottery? But again, this has been just published in the Federal Register, so it has to go through its own process, and so we need to wait on what's going to be the subsequent actions that needs to be planned. But again, nothing is going to be left behind, so we need to wait and understand.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary. And Kavita, this is to you. First of all, one of the majority of the people who are much more concerned about the one who already have H1Bs is next is the students. The students, especially the ones who are going to graduate and whoever applied already for the fall and just started their journey as a student. I know you'd have received a lot of people in a panic mode what to do. And what would be your biggest advice, at least at this point of time, to do? Because 34% of students have increased in India to sign up for their masters, especially in all the top tier universities in India. This happened within very recent times. So, what would you like to say about that?
Yeah, so it's a good question. As Sharda said, keep calm. Things will, resolve, and we will see, changes for better, definitely, because whatever the lawsuits in pipeline, that is going to help. But the current thing, like, it definitely has created panic, where, like, it's whoever has filed before that September 21st deadline are safe, meaning like whoever filed in last cap, they don't have to worry about anything, as we came to know that even the stamping was not an issue and people are getting the stamping, so they will not have any problem. But people, you're asking about the F1, where, like, whoever has come now and whoever is on the current OPT, we get calls almost every hour from one of the students, like, is it okay, how do I do that? And people are asking the parents. Obviously, the F1 students with the Indian community, it's the parents who panic more. So that is even more dangerous. At least the young kids can handle things, because the parents who have sold so much of their property and sent the kids even
Exactly.
for their future, it is even more, it's a big shock for them, because they think that, he's going to earn and he's going to settle here and things like that. But it is hard for them. But I would say that, there's it's not something end of the world, and definitely there's going to be some relief, and in some form. We don't know now, but definitely the cap, in my opinion, uh, definitely the 100,000 will not go to the cap. But I may be wrong. I don't want it to be wrong. basically wrong. I wanted to that 100,000 to go.
Okay.
So I mean, it's definitely because at least people will get relief. So do not panic, and this is all very temporary. So do not lose your peace. That's what I would say.
Thank you. Thank you, Kavita. So last year alone, there were more than 85,000 H1B visas that happened, and 71% were Indians, and next to us was China, and rest is the rest of the world. So whether it is good or bad, the most number of people who are being getting benefited by H1Bs are Indians. So whether we like it or not, this is the fact, and we have to go ahead with this. But let's do our best in whatever situation that come ahead. Now let's go for one of the viewers' questions, if we could get. Denny, can you please post for us? So I have valid H4 visa until March 2027. Currently, H4 EAD is valid until Jan 2026. Extension is in progress. Can I travel to India while my extension is in progress?
Yeah, I mean, H4 EAD extension as progress. It's a question. So
Yes.
sometimes they deny the H4 EAD extensions when I mean if there is a travel. So I wouldn't suggest traveling at this time.
So can I ask you that any extension, if they have not received any kind of intimation from the department, should hold up to their travel
No,
plans?
normally it doesn't, come to extension, because definitely for change of status, it makes it's abandons the petition, but it doesn't come with the extension. But I recently saw a couple of extensions being denied, even though you could challenge. But that's happening now, particularly with the H4 and H4 EAD. So I would, if possible, I would definitely not suggest to travel.
Actually, what I would say is if you don't have to travel, please don't travel.
Yeah.
Right? To answer most of the questions, because right now you can step out, you don't know what comes next. Right? We saw what happened in SFO and all that. You really don't know what will happen next. So, unless it's a true emergency, and my definition of true emergency, and this is just my true definition of it, is parents are not well. Something has happened back home that needs you to go there. Brothers, kids' marriage, my marriage, your marriage, these are not emergencies.
I hear you totally. I totally agree. And not only us, a lot of companies also sent an email to their employees. In fact, on the very first day when we got the executive order, that they do not recommend traveling at any point of time, especially if they are in all these in between situations, even if there is a validity or not, because they're not very sure what is happening. I think we're getting a lot of questions. Denny, can we have the next one, please? My wife is currently working on H4 EAD and has an approved H1B petition under the consular process from 2024. Is it safe for her to travel now for stamping?
Yes, it is safe for her to travel for stamping as long as everything else, like the job is still available, the client letter is there, whatever is there, as long as those conditions are met, for proclamation purposes, she's fine to travel.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sharda. We'll have the next question now. Does this affect the H1 transfers inside the US, Mary?
Yeah, right. So as we discussed earlier, as of now, all that it talks about is the new H1B, which we assume, even though it's at 2026, we call it 2027 quota. So most likely, it's going to be something, like a basic understanding is it's going to be from the next year. That's going to be the applicable fees on this. And also we come to know, even through other attorneys, even one of my other friend said that they were able to file a H1B transfer today through the online filing, and it all went through fine. But this is not assuring anything, but at this point of time, it looks like if there is any change of employer, you should be okay to do that.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Denny, can we have the next one? Oh, Mary Kennedy fan here. Yay!
Oh,
Who knew
that's
I'd
so
have a
sweet.
I know.
Whistle poured.
In L1, my H1B lottery has not been picked in last 4 years in a
Let me
row.
take a screenshot, Pa. That's
Thank you
more
so much.
important.
I know, right?
Go ahead.
In L1, my H1B lottery has not been picked in last 4 years in a row from 2021. In case if I got selected in next year lottery, because from L1 to H1, because of my employer to pay 100K,
Anyone wants to go or
oh, the
me?
first letter say, the first sentence says Mary Kennedy's fan here.
Yeah, sure. So it's very unfortunate if this proclamation stands for next 12 months, which is going to be falling under the quota of the new H1B. Then in that case, you will end up paying to get eligible to that. But there are a lot more of chances that this is not going to stand in the court, and then we are more positive about it with all that happened with the sequence of it. So let's keep that hope going, and definitely we'll also keep you posted on further updates on that.
Thank you, Mary. Can we have the next one, Denny, please? I have a valid H1B and stamped visa. Can you suggest the key documents I need to carry? Kavita, please.
Yeah, it's, I mean, as we said today, like we had people who had gone for stamping and they were successfully stamped. And you have to, I mean, it's a regular documents what you take for the stamping. There's nothing special you have to take. The client letter, or if possible, client letter and the company documents and your passports. These are some regular documents which are there in the checklist. So please take those. There's nothing special you have to do anything for this proclamation.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Kavita. Now, considering that they're going to squash this executive order and it's going to, everything is going back. How the scrutiny of the visa, yes, how the scrutiny of these the paperworks are going to be, and how severe both the employer and the employees are going to be affected because they're going to have it in a double lens work and they're going to do this. So anybody can answer for this.
See, I read some, I mean, I don't know, like if you had read about an USCIS officer who is about to come out of the USCIS. And in this October, he said about some of the insights in USCIS. He stated that, it is many experienced officers left the USCIS, and there are it's many stressful, and it's very stressful atmosphere there, and overworked officers, and this is how they are going to see the petitions. And there's also something where, like, immediate S is something which they are going to hold off. So we have to be very careful in how we document the petitions, and how we present the case as well. So that's what he was suggesting to the immigration attorneys. And because even the automated system for the 765 is gone, so that, that was doing an 80 officers was, I mean, the job the automated system was doing. So that is off also now. That's what he posted. And it is going to be very stressful. Definitely, like, carefully, just, contact a qualified attorney and work on the cases. And do not just rely on all the online and whatever you see. That's what I would suggest. Be aware of your case, just be, when the extensions are due, file ahead, have your documents in, put the dates, and follow up with your employer. Ultimately, the employer or the attorney, I mean, even though they are also responsible, but it is ultimately your case. Just please follow up and see it is getting done properly. And also provide all the documents also, because so many times we come across situations where we have to keep asking for the documents, and the nth minute we get it, and how stressful we are. And the thing is, imagine the stress of the officers also. So just plan it accordingly. That's what I mean, again, to answer your question, it is going to be very difficult, is what I understand.
Thank you, Kavita. But as Sharda said, for the past 2 days, there are few people who went through the consulate who got their stamping. We get both kind of answers. For somebody, it was very smooth. They asked the normal regular questions. They went through the stamping, and it was very smooth. There are a couple of people who were traveling. They did get stamped, is the good side, but they were asked a lot of questions regarding their documents, and they were scrutinized. Every single document was scrutinized well, and especially one of the most important thing that those people said was, if you are traveling back to the US and if you're carrying any kind of valuables, especially jewelry and a lot more things, please declare it, and go by the procedure, whatever the procedures or the routines that they have, follow that. Do not say that you do not have valuables, especially when you have that. And that has created a lot of issues in the
And
past 3 days, just the 3 days.
it is not really 3 days. It's been going on for a while, and you know the reason why, right? Because of all these checks and the cameras and the
Mhm.
AI that is there, they actually show you, and it did happen to one of my colleagues at work. So it's first-hand estimate. It's not even hearsay. They actually showed her going into a store in Dubai,
Oh, wow.
coming out, and said, explain to me what you were doing there in the store. If you are claiming, and she's a US citizen, for crying out loud,
My God.
what were you doing it inside? And then she had to explain that she went for her son's Upanayanam, and that is the reason why, she was just trying to get an idea of this thing. She was smart enough, unfortunately, she works with me. So she was smart enough to take the receipts of the purchases that she had made here to validate that the jewelry that she had was the one that she was,
Mhm.
so even though they say, oh, you can just walk away, walk into this thing and happily go, they are monitoring you.
Mhm.
And so that is the reason why this is triggering. And it is not just declaring it, just understand these are government officials. You lie to a government official or misrepresent facts to them, it is going to come bite you and bite you hard these days. So
Yes.
just why lie? What do you gain?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. So, whenever you're traveling, please beware, be honest, declare your belongings, and then do what you got to do. And this question, Mary, this is for you. There is a lot of contracts that's been handled by a lot of IT companies. I'm very particular about the IT companies alone. Those people would have already taken their contract, and through that contract, they bring and place the H1B employees around the working area wherever they are, and they do their transfers, everything. So they would have quoted for a different price and different things. Now their project will get completely delayed, not only delayed, loss of labors and everything. How do you foresee these things with those companies? They need to review back their contract. I don't know for how many years they have signed up and what would be the budget, etc. This
So
has been asked by one of the mid-size business person in US.
okay, so I'm trying to understand the question properly, Sumi. So you mean to say there is an existing MSAs or with the bigger,
Right.
like
Yes. So there is the
clients?
mid-sized company who
Uh-huh.
already have a contract, like a contract project, like something to do with the railways or something.
Mm,
So that person have, and he has been already having a contract for 3 to 4 years now.
mm, mm-hmm,
So that person have already signed the contract. They have a budget, and through
mm-hmm.
based on that, they already have uh, a few H1B people working around US for
Okay,
those projects.
right. Mm.
So, what would be the future of all those people if there is an extension or if they wanted to bring in a new people or whatever that is, especially in this mid period before any court answers those questions?
Oh, okay. So the replacement of those H1Bs, if in
Yes.
case of it's going to be this much of a scrutiny and then concerns and everything, what's going to be that? See, any contract, like on that reasoning, it doesn't have to be depending on any of those the H1B employees as such. It's for the work that they have committed for, and that's a very basic. It doesn't have to. It should not be discriminating between. That's the bigger side of the H1B abuse that has been going on, right? So bringing that into this picture itself is going to be something. I wouldn't even just look into that away. But at the same time, even as you're talking about the employers over here, I always have this there might be employers who are also being part of this call and conversations. See, this is the time you might be, even there are a lot more of frustration being a very small size or a mid size, even if it's 200, 250 employees are considered as a small size companies when you compare it to all the big folks in the industry who are supposed to be encouraging this $100,000, because for a Microsoft it's not going to be something very hard enough for them to do that, right? So but still, these H1B employees are depending on you, trusting you, their career, their everything. So in that case, even with all that happening at this point of time, it's going to be very fair for them when there is an amendment that needs to be done. It's very, very, that's your responsibility when you bring in by legally as well as morally to do what is they are supposed to do. They craving around people and everything, it doesn't seem to be that fair. But again, coming back to this your particular question, Sumi, that is something definitely, like it should not have been so dependent on a H1B employee. If they are not there, what's going to be my position cannot be fulfillment of a contract as such, I would say. And more than that, definitely negotiation of the contracts they based on other terms, and the change of circumstances could have been an option for the employer to work through it, I would say here actually.
Okay, thank you, Mary.
Follow up, I just wanted to say something on this, like whatever we see that's happening now. See, the USCIS during the site visits, they are asking the end client what is the requirement for the position, right? If the end client and uh, the H1B would have been filed with a level 2 or level 3, right? But when the end client says that, oh, 5 years experience, right? So immediately we are seeing the notice of intent to deny or notice of intent to revoke. So I have had similar cases, and I'm sure like others would have had seen it also. So this is what I would suggest. But then, fortunately for my clients, there was during the requirement time that was not specified at all. So they had that information that during the requirement that was sent to us, this was not. I don't know like why the company, the manager or the HR answered that way. Then they have to give a letter stating that this is what it is. But it is not for all the cases. So when it is something, it's you have to be talking to your client and understand the requirement, and put the wage levels accordingly. That's very, very important, because it is not fun, or it's very stressful also when we get a notice of intent to revoke, more particularly than the deny, because they've been already working on the H1B, and to revoke something is it's very stressful. And I would also request the employers to be mindful of this as well.
Okay, thank you, Kavita. Can we have the next question, please? Follow-up question. Thank you addressing my previous question. Can I continue to work post January 2026 even if my EAD extension status hasn't changed?
Yeah, as long as your I-94 is still valid and
Mhm.
your H4, you have an extension receipt, you should be able to work for 240 days, I think, or 540.
540 days
540 days, yeah.
when the I-94 is
Yeah.
valid. Yeah, that's very important. Yeah, right.
Yes.
So I just want to add a quick note on that. When they, as we say that strictly, like H4 and H4 EAD do not travel when there is, but again, in a situation like this, when the I-94 is not valid and they are in a position that they have to travel to get the I-94 validated so that they can continue on the EAD. So in those kind of a situation, just a quick one is like if you have traveled back, just and then you are entering back with an I-94 validity, and your EAD has been at that point of time pending for 4 months. Quickly, if you do update the USCIS with an interfiling, in some of the situations, it's helping you to see that USCIS sees that you have an updated I-94 and they're just processing it, but it's definitely a subjective answer. We can't rely on that, but in some situations, if you don't have a choice and if you have an employment, you could just try it out actually.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Just to put a note to all our viewers, none of them is a legal advice to anybody personally, because all our attorneys are answering but based on whatever questions that you ask in a very general term, because all the answers depends on the particular person and their case history. So you have to either check with your personal attorneys or the employers or the HR. So this is just the general information whatever our attorneys could give. I'm going back to the next question. How does this affect H1B transfers upcoming in the next few months to an American company? Will this be considered as new H1B? And this is with I-140 approval.
So this is what this has been clarified. The H1B transfers are going through perfectly fine, so you don't have to worry about it. And even with the I-140 approved, I don't think you are affected in any way
Anyway,
with the current proclamation.
Okay, thank you, Kavita. We can have the next question. Does the present proclamation affect the J1 visa holder who is planning to apply for H1 visa, who is presently residing in the US? Sharda.
so very simply put, it affects anyone right now who is going to appear for next lottery, irrespective of your status here, whether you're a J1, F1, H4, L1, anyone who is not on H1 will be impacted.
Any new, that's what they said.
It
Oh,
doesn't matter if you're going to apply it as a change of status. It doesn't matter if you're applying it as consular petition. As long as you're applying for the new cap, you would be impacted.
okay. Okay, thank you. Can we have the next question, please? My H1B transfer was approved earlier, and I have a visa stamping appointment scheduled. With the new presidential proclamation on H1B entry restrictions, can I still proceed with stamping or wait?
If you have to travel, as Sharda said, if you really have to travel and you have to go for stamping, then we are seeing that you are getting, people are getting stamped. That shouldn't be an issue. But as Sharda in the beginning said, only if you have to travel, take the trip.
Thank you. Can we have the next question, please? My H1B extension is being processed under premium processing, and my spouse H4 and H4 EAD applications are being filed concurrently. I wanted to check if there's any potential issue or risk with processing the H1B extension and the H4 EAD together.
Actually, so you could have filed it concurrently, but the USCIS stopped processing, together, even if you have filed under the premium processing. That has been completely stopped after the memo got, I think it was in January. So after that, they didn't never extended, and this administration never was interested to extend it as well. So, there's no way that a premium processing is going to be helping, but that doesn't, his question is very specific to say, ask if there is any potential issue or else there's no risk or issue, but only thing is you will be getting your, if there's no RFE, you'll be getting your approval of the H1B in 15 days, whereas the H1, H4 and H4 EAD has to wait for the regular processing time, which is now, 5 to 6 months in this.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay. I have met Sharada ma'am once in an event. So that's your fan. You can take a screenshot too. I have a question. What if a candidate gets selected in H1B lottery next year's and goes for stamping after 21st September 2026? Still 100K applies for them since this rule valid till September 2026.
So let's assume, thanks, Pala. Let's assume that the proclamation doesn't go away. It impact, it continues. The way it is worded, it is for 12 months with possible extensions, right? So should they say possible extensions? It doesn't matter, right? The question, what will happen? Let me take a step back. What is going to happen is when you're filing for the H1, you would have to pay the 100K. And when you go for stamping, you need to show proof that you actually paid the 100K. So it is not about when you go for stamping, it is about when you are applying that it would impact.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Can we have the next question, please? How long H4 EAD is taking right now? Filed in May 2025 with H1 Premium, H1 and H4 approved. EAD is still pending. Started at CA Center, now transferred to Texas. H4 approved prior to current EAD expiry.
So the processing timeline, I don't know anybody wants to go. It's like 5 to 6 months on an average, depending on where the service center, but it's not coming up. And it's very common to have the H4 approved prior to the H4 EAD. But you could assume that it's going to coming up sooner, but no expedited process or urgent process or all, nothing is working out. So there's no point in going ahead and asking them for the expedited approval of the EAD. If you have an I-94 that's valid, then probably, as we discussed earlier, based on that, you could continue at least working on the same employment rather than worried about it.
They got better. It used to be more than a year
Exactly. At
process
the time,
the
we used to ask
H4EAD.
people to go out and come back in and then apply to so that they could work on receipt. So this is
Yeah, it was, yeah, they got better with 6, 7 months now. That's what we see. But yeah,
yeah. Don't tell USCIS that.
And you didn't hear that from us.
Yeah.
Thank you. Can we have the next one, please? Oh, mm, yeah, I think okay.
Arul is flashing, I guess. Some Arul, I saw the name.
Yes, probably they're trying to post, and it's been okay. F1 OPT to H1B conversion, 100K fee.
Yes.
I think that is a student. The shortest version of the question: A plus B square equal to what?
And a programmer for sure.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Thank you. Okay, next one, please. Okay, so okay, so there's no next one. So okay, will this proclamation, the $100,000 application fee, apply to a person who's living outside the U.S., has an approved I-140, and wants to transfer their H-1B to a new employer?
So actually, you want to go, Shanta?
No, Mary, you can go.
Okay, so then so this is actually that's one of the scenario that it comes under a new employment technically when we file the forms, but at the same time they had already been on a cap exempt, right? So if we understand proper, as they are keep saying, it's applicable going to be only from September 2020, I'm sorry, the new H1B of 2026. So then in that case, if we assume that this is all going to be, he had already been a cap exempt, so even though it's a new employment as he is out of country and then he's applying as a transfer, but still it should be it should not have that 100,000 and should be good enough to file it with the regular fees.
Okay,
I
thank
mean,
you.
you can play it both ways. That's the reason why I punted to Mary. I was like, you can answer this in any way you want, right? There is no
Right.
wrong answer here.
We don't know that's the answer, but hopefully it is only for the new petition, cap petition, but we don't know because we mark in the forms that it's a new when you are outside the country. So, and also because the terms in the proclamation, they said like it starts for any new petitions that was filed after September 21st. So we are yet to see this kind of scenario. Probably in a couple of days, we will also know that. No, as we people are experiencing it, we are learning it as well, as we said before.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Kavita. The next question is, this is regarding H4 EAD. What are the possibilities to expedite H4 EAD? What needs to be done? And Kavita?
I don't think there is anything to expedite it for EAD. I know we previously, as we would say that file it with the H1B, but they are not processing together now. So I don't think there is anything we can do. I mean, there's no fees or anything where premium processing for the H4 EAD. So it just we have to wait.
Okay, thank you. Next question, please. And attorneys for hosting, you're welcome. Clarifying many of us. Lottery picked in 2025 and the petition has been approved already. H1B visa stamping is planned. I think what will be the consequences? He didn't end up the question, so I'll
We
complete it.
already answered this kind of
Yes.
Question. I think
similar
you should be
question.
fine. Go only if you have to. If it's already approved as a change of status, why even bother? If you want to, if it's approved as counselor, you should be fine to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So I will continue with the question that I received. What will happen to my H1B? I've been picked up in the lottery, but I'm still in India. There's a lot more people from my company have been picked up, but we have not yet traveled. What's going to be or consequences?
It should be fine because there's not going to be any new fee. It should be fine. They
I
can offer stamping.
I agree because it was filed before September 21st. So whatever, so it should work fine.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Can we have the next question, please? I have
Another
so,
person,
more
Sharda ma'am.
Sharda ma'am again. Tell me the truth. What you guys did before coming here? If one gets selected in H1B lottery next year's and goes for stamping
Question
after
as
24
Balas.
step
I think the
September
same
20,
question as Balas.
yes, yes, it has been answered already. So can we go for the next question, please? If we have H4 approved, but H4 EAD is pending, are we okay to travel and get visa stamped? I think if there is a stamping, all our attorneys previously answered to this question. Until or unless there is an emergency, they don't appreciate any of you traveling at this point of time. So can we go to the next question, please? My H1B extension is filed today under my H1B extension is filed today under premium processing. Trying to understand whether extension
No,
impacted due to this proclamation.
that's one thing they were very clear on. So the renewals are not affected.
Correct.
So you are safe, Deepak.
Like this is the one thing all agencies agreed on.
Okay.
Arul is back.
Yes, Arul Veeraraghavan. My son is studying third year MBBS in India and he's preparing for USMLE to come to USA. What kind of visa does he need to get for master residency to do here? Need some guidance. Thanks.
And I think I'll add that he's on H1B and he has an I-140 approved.
Yes, we will assume that.
No, because he mentioned it on the chat, so I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
So I think he'll need a J1 to come here for residency.
Okay. I have a stamped visa. Is it okay to travel? Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. What happens for B2 due to layoff to H1B change of status? Is it same as H1B transfer to a new employer fundamentally?
Actually, they should be, if they had been earlier on a H1B, all right, that's the only way they can go back to, oh, yeah, right, that's what they mentioned. Yeah, that's going to be, like a change of state, transfer of the H1B. That's what we call it, right?
Yeah, and also they are discouraging, what it used to be like, in 60 days, if you don't get it, come back on B2 and then to H1. The recently, that's been considered as an abuse and they are discouraging it as well.
Yeah, it's actually part of the proclamation, right? That the abuse of the B visas are going to be scrutinized.
Yes.
Oh, idhukada.
Did KFE also put a H1B patient file for a H4 EAD holder? Okay. Does the 100K fee also apply when an H1B petition is filed for a H4 EAD holder who is already within the US? Are there any special consideration in this case?
No, if they are going to be the first time applying under the H1B quota, definitely it's not going to be helping them whether they are in the US or out of US or it's a consulate approval. That's what the assumption is. So it's not going to help them.
I'll add to that question. There is also another question which I received was, will the same thing apply to my son who will be applying for H1B? Because the parents are here in H1B and the kid is going to complete the college.
No,
So the kid is in F1 and they're going to apply for H1B. So is the same thing apply to that H1B holder too?
that's right. Each individual, it's an individual petition that's going to
Yeah, at this time, we don't know what is going to happen at the time of,
that's
the cap. But at this time, yes.
Yeah, okay. But anyways, any student who's applying is also a first timer. So H1B, whatever the rules is, it's going to apply for them too.
right.
Yes. Can we have the next question, please? I was in H1B from 2016 to 2022. Left US before 2 weeks of my expiry. My GC started processing and now my I-140 is approved. Also, my extension is approved. But I'm outside US. My project has been changed, so I need to apply amendment for new project. Also, I need to go for stamping.
What's the question?
Yeah,
Exactly.
right.
I think the question, if I'm going to guess, my magic ball says that the question is, do I need to pay the 100K?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. So, I'll go and then Sharda can add it up to that actually. All that she has is only a 2 weeks on the, 6 years term, right? But again, based on the I-140, she definitely can get the 3 years extension. But the question here is, as we discussed earlier, I was more positive enough to say that if you had been anytime CapEx, and most likely it's not going to be applicable to you, as Sharda as well said that it's going to be the other way around also. We might have to wait and see. So this is one of the typical scenarios where we don't have an answer, even if they call it, say for example, if she doesn't have an I-140 approved, and all that she has is a 2 weeks or a 2 months of an leftover. So how prior you can be claiming that all those are going to come into play, right? So we don't have an answer exactly at this time.
Can we have the next question, please? When I applied for H1B in June, processing time was 4 months. Now in September, the processing time is 8 months. How does the processing time work? Can I expect approval considering the initial 4 months?
Oh,
Anybody?
oh, that's a loaded question. So we don't have any control over the processing time. It is based on the availabilities of officer, their workload, and what they are doing. So
There's so much of
yeah,
even layoffs in USCIS, and they are overworked. So definitely,
temporarily the processing times will increase. If you are ANSI, premium it.
Okay. Okay.
and
Thank you.
premium processing is an answer also for that. If it's H1B, if you want it faster, that's
Okay.
one option you have.
Thank you. And next question is from Balamurli. Project Firewall from DOL. Your thoughts on this? All three can take 30 seconds. Go for this.
No, we're taking a deep breath to get ready to answer.
Right. You have to be more, all the companies have to be more compliant. Just revisit your process, do the public access file. I know have a process for it, and do an internal audit for the public access file. So be very cautious. I mean, they have clearly stated that they are going to do more investigations. And I'm not only going to, I mean, seeing that as only for a public access file or H1B, I'm also thinking that it's going to be for perm as well. So be very cautious. Revisit, companies, please revisit your policies and the public access files.
And
Okay. Thank you.
employees, from your stand, you are required to get a copy of the LCA, certified LCA. Make sure you're getting a paycheck and you're actually getting paid based on what it says on the LCA. Because you don't, it's a maintenance of status issue. So it is not just the employer. Yes, you can blame the employer, but at the end of the day, it's your maintenance of status issue. We may have to file your extension as a counselor petition, wherein, and then you'll have to go sit outside getting a visa appointment. Third country national is not there anymore, so you can't go to another country to get a stamping. So, it is, at the end of the day, it is your petition, so you need to be aware of what is going on in your petition.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
Mary.
that's right. And then amendments, don't, say that I did have been insisting to my employer or talking to them. If you move from Dallas to Chicago, you definitely need an amendment. And also, don't take things for granted just because you had been 100% working remotely, no matter what. I can be on any place and doing my work is no longer an option. Just be cooperative enough to understand the legal compliance of what you're supposed to do, because Department of Labor, as they have said, and also the perm audits, and then recruitment efforts, what's actually done, so many things are in place when it comes to like what they are going to do. We don't have any much thoughts on that.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary. So have your public access file in place, file your LCAs, file your amendments, and especially check your expiry dates of all your documents. And when you think that this is the time to apply, go ahead and apply 6 months. Don't wait for the last month and then start processing with everything. You have a HR sit back on them, follow up with your attorneys. So again and again, our attorneys have been insisting on all these things. So I really appreciate if you guys can do all those things. So I'm going back to the next question. If we have perm approved and I-140 is in progress, will that impact if this is the first I-140? Will this impact if they have a second I-140 with a new employer?
No. The 100K is only for H1s. It doesn't apply for any other visa types or for green card processing either.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Will the proposed individual gold card can exempt from country cap limits in EB2?
They are planning to eliminate the EB2, and you are talking about cap, cap exempt. Sorry about that, Murli. It was just an inside joke where they are trying to, they are saying that they wanted to eliminate the EB2 and EB3, and it is not about the, uh, they are not planning to remove the country cap or anything. I mean, there's no news on it. We don't know the details of it, but what was stated in the gold card is they are planning to replace that.
Okay, so since he asked about Murli asked about gold card, can somebody give a short note on what gold card is all about?
Yeah,
In
you'll have to,
whatever we know.
you'll have to declare it at the customs. No, I'm kidding.
No, it has Trump's face on it.
And also, it's on sale from 5 million to 1 million. So what more?
Thanksgiving sale.
And 5 million is also there.
Oh.
But in that, you'll get some exempt, tax exempt benefits for 6 months, 40 days or something.
So
But we don't know. There's so many things going on, but it'll be challenged. There's so many things, it's very, very initial. We don't
Right.
know if it's even fly. So
gold card theory is this, right? They said if you pay 1 million as an individual and donate it or gift it to the nation, or 2 million if the company gives it on behalf, gives it or donates it to the nation on behalf of an individual, then they would be considered to be of exceptional ability or exceptional business ability, or as for national interest waiver purposes. If you really look at it, when the gold card EO came, which happened like 10 minutes before our proclamation thing came out, it said it was supposed to eliminate, and Ludwig also said it was supposed to eliminate EB1 and EB2. Now, if you go back and look at the language, kakaush, it's not there. Right? So, now that said, please understand the whole concept of per country limit, EB2, EB3, is a statute. It is an act by the Congress. You cannot be overturned by an executive order. It has to go through that process. But that said, it'll, Murli, don't get us wrong. We're not laughing at you or anything. It's a valid question that you're having, sir. It is just that it is preposterous, in my opinion, that they give the secretary 90 days. And I'm actually curious to come to see what she comes and does with it. So I would just wait. Don't get excited. Don't get there. Don't start collecting 1 million and all that. Everyone wait. They have 90 days to decide.
Yes, absolutely. So I think, Mr. Murli, we have answered your question. Can we have the next one, please? Okay, you're welcome. Okay, all the proud women power guiding us here. Good. If the I-140 is in progress with PERM approved, would that impact? Do you recommend doing this in premium? I think yes, they already answered that question. Is if you have a chance to do that, please go ahead, do it. I take the privilege of answering that. Can we have the next question, please? Are the H1B transfer to a new employer also having 100K
No.
fee? No. Bhaiya, no. Purushottam and Deenadayalan. If someone in L2 EAD is currently working in US, if you apply first time H1B next year, 2026, is the rule apply for him to pay 100K? 2026.
Yes, if it's going to be continued on this proclamation and the 12 months period, yes, it's going to be yes.
Yes. Currently, I'm in USA and I have my visa appointment in Chennai on October 31st. Can I travel?
Yes, if you have an approval.
Yes, Anandi. Mubin Mohammed. What will be the impact if we are transferring H1B to new employer in current situation when already an amendment going on for new location and client? Is it allowed to file another amendment on top?
Actually, this will be a transfer, right? Like if he's transferring to a new employer,
Yeah.
When there is an amendment, yeah, right, based on the AC 21, they should be okay for them to transfer their H1B, even the amendment is pending.
But it is very case specific also, so I would suggest that to talk to an attorney and see like what it is, how what kind of an amendment if it's already an amendment pending. So it's better to talk to an attorney also.
Yeah, that's correct. Like the I-94 validity, so many things might have to be checked on before we answer for it.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Mubin. So you can check with your attorneys and your HR if at all you're processing through your office. Can we have the next question, please? Do you expect the administration to ease off on 100K fee on H1B transfers? Without, it's very hard for companies to hire talent. How
There
long?
is no fee for transfers at all. For the change of employer, there is no 100K fee at all. So don't worry about it now. You can feel free to change the employers.
Yes. Next one, please. Empty Cups. I like the name. Perm filed in August 2025 and 6 year validity is expiring in March 2026. Can I take a vacation to reclaim time? Not in H1 to extend validity to August 2026. To get one more year of extension if the perm is not approved by August 2026.
Yeah, technically speaking, they can definitely do that. But again, there are a lot more. This is more of a subjective question. There are so many things that we need to understand. If they are going to be out of country for this long, whether the H1B remains valid, because there is a lot more going on in the port of entry when you're out of country with a valid H1B for 2 months. So all these definitely has to be considered. So, and I'm not sure, like Sharda and Kavita wants to add anything, but for me, I would say it's
I mean, we would want to see the dates and understand a little more because there might be other options than just taking a vacation.
Okay. So just I'm adding on to the question, consider that any H1B out of emergency, that person is traveling. So what would be the how long they can stay? If there is an emergency and they are traveling, if they do not have a time, do we have a timeline that we can suggest?
No.
So there is no regulatory timeline set saying this is how much you can stay outside. But we can tell you that we've seen issues, especially Abu Dhabi, Kavita, where
Yeah.
they've been sent back saying, show us an amendment that you were allowed to work from India. There is no such thing.
Mhm.
Okay.
shows the LCA. What do you do?
Yeah, see, the guy even went for stamping. The similar issues came up in stamping as well,
Okay.
and they also wanted to know, like if he had said that, oh, that time I have taken off, so I was not working, and they wanted to have all the documentation in place that
Okay.
provide that what was approved, that you have approved for your vacation for this long and things like that. So as I said, like it's again a very case specific information. So I would suggest that contact your attorney and to see like what is the best way to deal, how to deal with this.
Okay. Thank you, Kavita. I know it's already 8:30. We were planning to do a 1 hour thing. There are five more questions. Can I go ahead? Yes. So the next question is, our organization recently relocated within 20-mile radius. Is an amendment required for this change? If so, is there is a specific time frame to file it?
No, not for a 20-mile radius. It should be fine.
With the
Okay.
same county and same PMSAs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
usually it's fine.
Okay.
And also, what is in the LCA? Is it, probably if your organization is not even in the LCA, you are fine on also.
Okay. Thank you. Can we have the next one? Is the 100K applicable only for new H1B filed outside US, or does it apply to all the new H1B petitions, regardless of where they are filed, including when filed within the US for an H4 holder? So I
Yeah,
think this has been answered already.
yeah. It's going to be the same, irrespective whether it's a change of status or outside US. If at all, it's going to be applicable and it's going to be in practice with the new H1B coming up. It's going to be applicable for anyone.
So this question about H1B transfer, for some attorneys are saying that 100K fee is applicable, but today there are, I mean, some of the attorneys that, I mean, at least I know that we know that one attorney had filed the transfer and the 100K was not applicable.
Okay. So no fee for transfers. Got a question. What will be the future of F1 visa? Is it good to suggest for family members to come in student visa?
That's
Kindly
your
share all your insights, please.
It's a very, very loaded question, right? If I may, and I hope I'm not offending anyone, and I caveat that. Still believe the United States is one of the greatest countries that there is. The educational system here is superb. I was on F1. I did my master's. I did my law school here. So I won't question it. Now, the question that people have to ask internally is why are they coming here? What is the end goal? Is the end goal to really build a career on F1, learn something and build a career? Or is it a short gap? I'll work in the US for like 3, 4 years, whatever it is, whether it is working at a local restaurant or a gas station, and quickly make a buck and go back. Your answer to that question really depends on what way you're going to answer that question. So, and I'll leave it at it.
Thank you. Thank you. So this is from Mr. Subramani. I'm in India with an approved I-140 through a different employer. And if my current employer files my H1, would the employer be entitled to pay $100,000?
It shouldn't be. I know that's what we discussed earlier. Most likely, it should not be a problem because there are a lot more of repeated to say that it's for a new H1B. He already has an H1B. Even though the employer is going to be a change of employer, right?
Okay, thank you. Do we have anything else? Okay, I'm planning to invite my sister to visit the US in December 2025 on a B2 tourist visa. There is a $250 visa integrity fee. Is this fee paid during the consular process at the time of port of entry?
Yes.
Yes. Can you have the next question, please, if we have one? Mikka Nandri. For all times, support and guidance is really toughest times. Thank you, Sham. Anybody? Okay. I think we are good. That is a lot of information. I exactly know how busy all you three people are in between shuffling between all your schedules. Thank you so much. MTS Metroplex Tamil Sangam is really thankful to each and every one of you for coming and supporting in every single time when our community is facing such hard times. Thankful to each and every one of you, to all our viewers. We really appreciate all your questions. If we have any of your questions unanswered, we will take a note of it and we will address in a separate time. We have noted your IDs too. I really thank everyone here and especially to Rekha and MTS media team for working on top of this for the past couple of days. So keep your documents properly, well, file your extension. End of the day, it is your deadlines, it is your expiry date, so keep a note of that. Reach out to your attorneys, your HRs, whomever you have to ask the questions to. Don't panic. All the attorney says is take a deep breath, sit, let's see what is going to happen. But I'm very sure this country is a land of opportunity, and I bet it is going to give you back. It's sometimes it's very hard, but still good things are yet to come. Thank you, each and every one of you, for honoring us with this program. I really appreciate it.
Vanakkam. Thank you, Nandri.